Hello, my name is Lindells Stewart, and I did the mastery with Becca Francis, learning all things human design, and it was the most amazing human design course I have done. And I want to share a little bit today about why I loved the course so much and what I got out of it. Now, firstly, I started studying human design in 2020. It's when I first discovered it. And I'd already done some study prior to doing mastery with Becca. But one of the main things that I really loved with doing mastery is the way Becca broke things down. I loved the foundational elements that we had to go through. Even though I had done human design before, it was a really great way of kind of setting new foundations, because I feel like it's so often that we learn something, we kind of put things through our own lens, and then some areas can get a bit lost or get a bit watered down. So it was a really beautiful way to kind of reset the foundations for human design, and obviously getting it through the way Becca teaches it. She's such an incredible teacher, and she's very, very detailed. So I really loved how much information we were getting through mastery and the way it was beautifully structured. The other thing is as well that I love about it is that although there was so much detail, it gave us a really good ability to choose how deep in the detail we needed to go for our own human design. So for me, I do love detail, but I don't necessarily recall it overly well. So I could kind of dive really deep into the detail, but then through my own human design lens, take what I needed from that and use it in a way that worked for me. So I'm a projector. I have a 4/6 profile as a projector, and I just absolutely love the way Becca taught us. She is definitely an incredible teacher. So what I would love to do is just answer some very specific questions around mastery and my experience to share with you. So tell us a bit about your journey with human design and how you found the course. What kinds of resources had you tried and learned? So I've already shared that I have done a previous course, and I have a lot of the human design books. I've already had genetic matrix, but what the resources I found most powerful and most impactful through coaching with Becca in mastery was the coaching cue cards. Were amazing, so incredible, because they just perfect little bite-sized pieces that you can take action on immediately, and I could immediately use those coaching prompts with my clients. So that was a really, really great way. And also I love that Becca could do a presentation that didn't feel like it was death by PowerPoint. Like, it was really succinct, really main key important areas, and then she would flesh it out by speaking to it. So for me personally, that was just a really great way to learn. And Becca constantly provided so much value, because we also had the Voxer group, which we could ask any questions in and chat with one another in mastery. So speaking to the fellow human design students in mastery through Voxer and asking Becca questions, and also hearing what other people were asking, and her answers to that was super, super helpful, and just a really informative way to learn. Like, it's just so different to any other type of learning I've done before. So the second question is, why do you think you hadn't gotten the previous depths of knowledge you were looking for? So this is obviously regarding the resources. I feel like the previous resources I had used before to learn human design, truly, I think it's because Becca does go into so much detail, and she breaks down the steps so clearly for you that you actually have the ability to really take in each step as its own individual area. Where I feel like a lot of the past course I did, and even the books, it's a lot of information, and I don't really break it down. It's like, this is like this overarching information. It's like, for me in my brain, I was kind of like, I need to know, why is that the reason, and where did that come from, and how did that start, and what is the reason we need to know this part or that part. And also some of the human design concepts to me were quite complicated, and the way that Becca is able to break things down, it makes things very, like, way less complicated. I have an analogy I'd like to share on this, and I always look at it as like, if you were to look at a ball of yarn, okay, and it's like all wrapped up, and you try and figure out like, where does it begin and where, like, how does it turn out to be this ball of yarn? Like, if you have to redo it, how would you do it? Becca has a really beautiful way of showing you where it started and all the way to the end result, like how the concept of human design began, who it began through, how each little step and each area and section of human design created this ball of yarn. It's just what came to my mind when I envisioned the way that she teaches. So I hope that that does land as a concept for someone else. So one of the other questions is, what hesitations did you have about enrolling? I personally had no hesitations about enrolling in Mastery because I've been following Becca for quite some time and I love human design so much. And the fact that there was a course that was going to go into this level of depth, I've not come across a course like that before. I've looked into a lot of human design courses. As mentioned before, I have done a human design course, but Becca, the information that she shared, that she was going to move us throughout the course and the way she set it up, I was like, I just don't think that anybody else is doing it this way, and I've not come across it. So that was the biggest reason why I was like, I'm in. I'm pretty sure I was the first person that bought into Mastery straight away, because for me, it was just like, I've not seen a course like this, and I wanted to understand a lot of the really complicated, or what felt really complicated concepts. I wanted to get them. I wanted to take my learning and my understanding for my clients' sake to another level. And I just knew by reading the way that this Mastery course was going to unfold, that this was going to be really impactful and really level me up as a human design reader and using human design in my coaching. So for me, there was no hesitations whatsoever. How did the program help you integrate human design into your coaching process? So learning, I'd already known a lot about myself as a projector and my profile, but there was so much through the coaching sessions, the weekly coaching sessions we had, where Becca would share past experiences, or share some stories of people that she's coached. And every time she shared something about a fellow projector, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm so much more seen. So the way that really played out in my coaching was to really, I guess it kind of cemented for me that the way in which my energy type works is really beautiful and unique. And I guess Becca sharing those stories that I could relate to personally really helped me trust myself as a coach, as a projector, to show up in a way that's truly aligned to me. So I personally, as a projector, feel like a lot of the human design stuff out there is very much related to generators and manifesting generators, because of course they make up majority of the population. And although Becca isn't a projector, she was really incredible at ensuring that every single one of us in the group had stories relating back to our energy types. Like, she has a really beautiful way of storytelling, and I never felt like I was sitting in a group that was all about generators and manifesting generators. There were so many times that she related things back to being a projector. What I also really love is that Becca uses a lot of our charts, because she gets to know us so intimately, and she genuinely takes our information on board to the point where she can give us very specific support and advice, because she knows our charts. She takes the time to look into us and into our energetic blueprints. We're not just this number in a course for her. She genuinely, you get this encompassing knowing that Becca is here for you as an individual, and that she cares. She genuinely cares about you and how you are going to apply everything that you learn to yourself and integrate it within your own life, but then also be able to utilize that in your coaching career. So Doing mastery with Becca has been a game changer for my coaching career, because it's also given me a lot of confidence in the knowledge that I do have. And I felt like with mastery, I always had that backup to be like, oh, I'm not sure about this. I've got this client, you know, she's this kind of profile, she's this type of energy type, or this center, or this gate, or this channel. I'm not 100% sure how to move through something that the client needed help with. And then I could tap into mastery and be like, hey guys, what do we do here? Through the Voxer group, and having the other women in mastery also come back and share their insights, and then having Becca share hers, it's just incredible. It's just like a completely encompassing, really high impact container. And I was so grateful that I was part of it, truly. What have you liked best about working with Becca? What do you like best about her program? So I feel like I've definitely covered that as far as the programs, but I love the most working with Becca, with her unique perspective on things, but also her practicality. So Becca is super spiritual, but she's also very practical, and I love that about her. She's always also come from sort of like a corporate background, so I can really resonate with Becca. I can resonate with where she's come from. I can resonate with her stories. She's also shares a lot of logic as well as spiritual. So I really loved that we could get a bit of both throughout my time in mastery, because I am quite a practical, logical person as well, but I'm also very spiritual. So I feel like what I really loved the best about working with Becca is that she's really good at bridging the gap between the logic and the spiritual, bringing it into really realistic terms. And also I think because Becca is such a good teacher, she just has this gift of teaching something that's really complicated and making it simple like that. I really do feel like that's her gift. How do you see what you've learned through the program with Becca affecting your future? Oh, well, I think that working with Becca, it's like you've drawn a line in the sand, and it's like before working with Becca and after working with Becca. And I'm now in the after working with Becca, and I will just forever be this new iteration of me because of mastery, because of this course, because of her teachings. There is just no going back. It's just been the best. Sorry, how do you see what you've learned through the program affecting your future? Anything you'd like to say to someone who may be unsure about working with Becca in this program? If you are considering working with Becca and you're not sure if it's going to be for you, I just highly recommend that you reach out to her and talk to her, because she's a really open, inviting person. She has beautiful boundaries though as well, which I also really appreciate and love about her. But if you are having any doubts, reach out to her, because she's so great to talk to, and she's not pushy. I never felt pushed into anything with Becca. She was also very informative all the time. I have asked Becca so many questions over the months, but even before mastery, I asked her so many questions on the day that I was like, okay, I really think I'm going to do this. I asked so many questions, and not once did she make me feel like I was being annoying or frustrating. She wasn't frustrated with me. She was just really, really happy to answer any questions I had. And she was really, really lovely and warm, and she always is. So I would say that if you want to ask any questions, go ahead and ask her. She's so open to that. And if you've got any reservations about the course, I would just ask yourself if you genuinely want to take human design into your career and into your business and take that to the next level. I just truly believe that Becca's course is the way. It really, really is. Who do you think Mastery School is great for? I think Mastery School is great for anyone. I think it's whether you want to use it for self-development and just literally apply it to yourself and your family. I think it is so powerful. I also think it's incredible for coaches. I'm a coach. I'm a business owner. I also have a digital marketing business. So I think it's amazing for coaches, but I also think it's just amazing for entrepreneurs in general to, at the very least, understand yourself really, really well. That for me was the biggest thing about human design, is understanding me and understanding other people as well. So understanding all of the energy centers and how you can see who may be in their shadows. I just feel like as a human, it gives you more compassion for others because you can see the shadow in others and go, okay, that person's going through X, Y, and Z. I can see that. And it allows us to have more compassion. So I personally think mastery is for anyone. I think mastery is for anybody that is interested to take their knowledge of human design further for personal gain or for business. Definitely for coaches. I personally think having an understanding of human design when you're working with people is an incredible tool, but also for entrepreneurs so that they know how to best run their businesses from their own internal compass, their own authenticity. So I think it's for everyone. Is there anything else about your experience you would like someone to know who's considering enrolling? I would like anybody who is considering enrolling into mastery to trust themselves, to trust that they have come across mastery, they've come across Becca for a reason, because I believe wholeheartedly in the way Becca teaches. I believe in her gift of teaching. She's an incredible teacher. And I really just believe that if you want to really, really level up in human design and level up in your business and level up in your life, mastery is the way to go, because it takes all of the human design information out there into one area where you have so much support. You've got support from everybody in mastery, doing mastery with you, and you've got incredible support from Becca herself with the weekly calls. It is such a high touch container. I've done many courses for many other things as well in my life. I've also had business coaching myself, and the way Becca runs mastery has by far been the most impactful, most high touch experience. There was never a time that I felt like, I didn't have access to being able to answer a question. I mean, even in the Q&As that we were able to tap into, the Voxer group, and the weekly coaching calls, there was always an opportunity to ask a question, always. And I love that the most. It didn't feel like we were just coming on, had all this information thrown at us and then get booted off the call. There was always time to ask questions, and Becca always gave us that chance to ask questions. Like, you always feel like you had a voice in this group. And I love the most that everyone felt so comfortable to share their opinions and their perspectives on what we were learning, because it was really nice to learn through my fellow mastery students as well, to see how they were perceiving different information versus how I was perceiving it. And just kind of seeing that in play was really, really great. So overall, what I can tell you is, if you are thinking about joining mastery with Becca, I couldn't recommend it enough. I couldn't recommend working with Becca enough. She's an incredible teacher and coach and mentor, and the way she lays out the mastery program, it just touches on all different types of learning styles as well. So I just think it's an all-encompassing, incredibly impactful program. And if you want to get more into human design and you want to know human design at a higher level, you'd be crazy not to get into mastery.